So example 2, given that the tangent of theta equals negative 5/4 and the cosine is greater than 0, find the sine and find the secant. So when they give you those first two pieces of information, what they're trying to tell you is the quadrant that you should be working in. Right? You need to find the quadrant where tangent is negative and cosine is positive. Tangent is negative and cosine is positive. Which one of the four is? Quadrant 4, right? Tangent is negative, cosine is positive. So the next step should be draw a picture. Right? In the picture, I'm going to be drawing an angle into the fourth quadrant. Right? When you draw an angle, remember, the vertex of the angle is always at the origin, and the terminal side is going to be going out into the fourth quadrant. I see some kind of funny pictures sometimes on tests where you've drawn your angle like that. Here's the terminal side like that. That's not the way it goes. It goes like that. So don't do that. Okay, let's see. And the theta, it's always the angle with the x-axis, right? Don't draw the theta in here. The theta is always with the x-axis. So get the terminal side in the right place, starting at the origin, going into the correct quadrant. Label the angle between the terminal side and the x-axis, and then draw yourself the right triangle. And because they told us the value of the tangent, we'll be able to label two of the sides, right? Negative 5/4. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we know it's going to be 5 and 4, but one of those has to be negative. It has to be the 5 because it's below the middle. The y is negative, right? There you go. Okay, now we need the r. How do I find the r? Pythagorean theorem, right? So the r will be the square root of 4 squared plus negative 5 squared. Yes. Okay. So that'll be the square root of 16 plus 25 equals the square root of 41. So this side is the square root of 41. Right. Once you, yes? Okay, first, don't turn it into a decimal. You obviously do, right? I mean, take the square root of 41. That's probably 6.4. Don't take the square root. It needs to be the square root of 41. There's no calculator needed here. Okay. Don't turn these things into decimals. Do not, right? So the sign should be, based on where the angle is, it's opposite over hypotenuse. Sine theta equals negative 5 over the square root of 41. But we need to rationalize. What will it look like rationalized? Okay, notice the pattern, right? I mean, if you want to multiply every time, that's fine, but I'm not going to do that every time we rationalize. It's always the same thing, right? When you do square root of 41 over square root of 41, you're going to get the square root of 41 in the numerator and just a 41 in the denominator. It always works that way. You can't keep looking at the same process every time like it's a mystery. It's the same thing. What about the secant? Well, secant is 1 over cosine, right? We know the cosine would have been 4 over the square root of 41, so the secant should be the square root of 41 over 4. The secant is the square root of 41 over 4. And no need to rationalize.